So I asked them, can I get a Bible? And they said, we'll see if we can find you one. And of course, they didn't give me a Bible. So Tuesday, I was still there, and I just found myself really, really low. And I could hardly eat, but I would just eat enough because I knew, if something happens, I don't want to get pushed to the ground because I'm so weak. And so on Tuesday, I asked him if I could have a Bible again. And the guard, that particular one, ran and grabbed me one immediately. And as soon as I opened the Bible, the atmosphere in the church, it was church up in there. The atmosphere in the jail cell changed. Immediately as I opened that word, things began to happen. I found out that a young man had been troubles in his mind that had such a high case of ADHD that he couldn't even talk normal. He talked like he was high. And he had been in there 7 days because they didn't know what to do with him. They thought he was just so intoxicated. So I asked if I could pray for him. And he said, yeah, please. And so we didn't make this big whoop, oh, here it comes, give me the oil. No, I just sat next to him. So I'm not going to touch you because I don't want to, mess with your masculinity. They might beat you up here, because that's how it is in there. And I prayed for the brother. And immediately after I prayed for him, I felt there was a peace that just departed from me to him. And as soon as he got up, another brother sat down and said, oh, so you read the Bible? I said, yeah. And he began to tell me why he was in there. And then the Lord just had me tell him that his situation was going to be all right. And I began to read to him Psalms 23 and explain to him what the valley of the shadow really is. And so this brother was just changed. I found him later on. I heard him telling other inmates, don't worry, brother, God got you. And what really, really bugged me out was, while I was in there, I overheard some of the Mexican bald-headed guys saying, hey, all like the black guys right here, they're cool because they're from Long Beach, but across the cell, that guy over there, that dude, he's from Watts. That's the enemy. He kills Mexicans and we kill him. So if we get thrown in there, we got to stick together, guys. And so as I'm talking to another young man, the Lord goes and tells me, go talk to him. And so I felt like Ananias, and I was like, are you sure that's the Saul? That's the one that's killing Christians, Lord? But he didn't tell me twice, he told me once, go talk to him. And so I walked, and I'm not gonna lie, when I got up, I was scared. And as I took the first step, the Lord began to build me up. He girded my loins with strength. So by the time I got to the cell, I boldly said, hey man, get him for me. And so they tapped him, and he turned around and looked. He said, ain't calling you. And he looked at me like, and he walked over there like, what you about to do? And as soon as he got close, I just told him, I said, look, the Lord told me to tell you, I don't know what's going on with you, but your situation is fixed at home. And I said, you have a great calling on your life. And the Lord said that he heard your cry. And that you have been communing with your head upon your pillow. I don't talk like this on the regular tip. And I touched him. I reached across the cell and touched him, risking my own personal safety. Risking his personal safety, I just touched him. And as I touched him, the Spirit moved in him. And he shook and I shook. And we both got teary eyes and we just wiped them off. And within a couple of minutes, they called him to go home. All this, the same people say, we are on assignment. You might be in the supermarket, you might be somewhere where you're thinking, I'm here having a good time. Are you ready when the Lord calls you for active duty? See, I was feeling bad because I was thinking about myself. As soon as I stepped out of the way and saw what God sees, and no longer worried about what's going on in my life, but started worrying about God's people, it gave me liberation. My stomach stopped hurting. I got a great night of sleep. The ticket that I had was a mandatory meeting with a judge. It's unheard of for you to owe $30,000 and not see a judge. And so the next day, the last brother that was there in the same group with us, he at first was causing me trouble. As I was witnessing to brothers, he would pass by me saying like this. As I was reading to people or telling people about the Lord, he would pass by and say, I don't need no religion, the 40 Glock is what saves me. He kept passing by me saying, I don't need no religion, the 40 Glock saves me. By the end of Tuesday night, that same brother, just like Nicodemus by night, came into my cell and just opened up. He told me, I don't even bang anymore. I just say that because I don't want to, look like a jump in here. He began to tell me, I just want to go home and be with my daughter. She's 2 years old. See, people are really hurting out there. But if we stay in self and keep worrying about us, we can't be effective in God's kingdom. So when he was the last one to go, and I found myself there by myself, and I was like, oh. I was like, Lord, maybe I'm asking for them and not for myself. You know, because I was like, oh, now what? Am I gonna have to do this for a whole other set of people? And so I started getting a little distraught again. You know, I'm only flesh. And I began to read the Word. And not read it for a learning purposes, but read it as a feeding purposes. Because my soul was in desperate need of joy. And in that Word, the place is cold, colder than it is outside. As soon as I will open up the Bible, I will have to take my jacket off because I will start sweating on the inside. Because of the fire of the Lord, the power that is in that Bible. You see, that's a weapon. A gun in the hand of a child, it's nothing. But in the hand of a trained soldier, it's mighty. So I encourage y'all, stay in that Word. As soon as I read, the last thing I read that just encouraged me, David said something in the long way of saying that he's not going to be happy until he's in, not only in the Lord's presence, but in his likeness. And so I thought, I'm like, Lord, I know you're not going to let me die in here. And if you do, I know you got my family covered. So what am I worrying about? At 7 o'clock, I said, you know what, Lord? If I have to go to the county, if I have to go do, if they say I'm here for 7 days, what can I do? I'm in your hands. I'm about to go to sleep. 30 minutes later, they say, Segura, you're out. And now here I am, family.